Okay, today we are fixing this film processor. So what's happened is our thermistor, this guy right here, our thermistor, stopped working, and so as a result, this thing cannot maintain the temperature that it's supposed to maintain. Now, the unfortunate part of this is our thermistor that we need to replace is way down underneath here, so we have to take this off. It connects inside the controller box here, so we got to take this off and do all the shenanigans in there. I'll try to record as much of it as I can, but that's basically what we're doing today. I've already got the replacement thermistor. This is going to go in there. I got to run all the wires, all that stuff. I've already had to do this once. This seems to be a thing with this film processor, that the thermistor fails after a certain amount of time has gone by, and it just happens to be one of those things. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to set this kind of here and out of the way a little bit so I can work. And I'll have this where you can see what's going on, and I'll probably cut this up and slice it or whatever. But yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay. What size is this? This is going to be a... maybe 8mm. All right. There we go. There's one in here, which is like a total pain to get to. Oh, is this already loose? No, it isn't. Okay. There we go. Okay. I believe that's all of them. Yep. Okay, now this lifts out. So, all right. So this is what we're dealing with here. So our thermistor is this guy right here. And so he needs to be replaced because he clearly is having an issue. All right. Okay. So the next thing that we need to take off is, okay, so that's this guy right here. The next thing that we need to take off is this cover. And that is going to be relatively simple because there's just 4 screws to take this off. And I wish that they would use standard hex instead of these star drivers, but whatever. Okay, and also, we're not plugged in. This one is being mildly annoying. I think it got stripped out when they initially installed it. So what we're going to have to do is that. Okay. Now the secondary, so this is the temperature controller here. We need to undo this screw here. So that will be our handy dandy cross point screwdriver. Yep. Absolutely 100% do not want to lose that screw. Okay, and that gets this cover off. Okay, which lets us now undo these screws so that we can swap out our thermistor connector. So it really seems to be missing a screw. Did we lose a screw? I hope not. Or maybe they just didn't install it with a screw. Who knows? Okay. Either way, so this is our thermistor connection, or our thermistor. It's routed down in through here. We need to find out which wire it is. That's these two wires here. So now what we're going to do that is the correct bit. So we're going to loosen that. Ta-da! And that lets us basically pull this through. This is our old thermistor now, right? And you can see it's not in great shape. These thermistors don't last worth a darn. It makes me wonder if perhaps it should be waterproofed a little bit better or whatever. So there's a couple of things we have to do with this thermistor. Is the ones that I bought, I got these on Amazon. It's like $5 for 5 of them, so they're like $1 each. And so one of the things that we have to do, because it comes with this connector, which is not the right connector, unfortunately. So one of the things that we have to do is take our snipperoonies, lose the connector, and then strip the wire down so that we can feed it into the terminal. And so that's relatively straightforward to do. It's one of the tiny ones. Actually, this might be too, yeah, these wires might be too small. I might have to use, yeah, I'm gonna have to, okay. There we go. So we've got one connector there. Do the same thing to this one. I don't believe these are polarized. I don't think that matters. It'd be the same thing here where we give it a little bit of love without cutting through the whole thing, just enough to where I can snag my fingernail on it. There we go. Come on. Okay, so now we got both of these. Now this has a whole mess of wires and stuff. We don't want to disconnect any of these. But we do need to move them out of the way so that we can snake this down in there. So there's a hole. There's a hole down in here that we have to snake this through, and it comes down underneath the bottom and then up down through. There's another hole on the side in here on the inside, and then it goes down in. So that's basically what we got to do here. So I'm gonna move this out of the way just so I have some working room, and we're gonna snakety snake snake. Because that's what we got to do. Okay, so that's this part here. Now, let's get this out of the way. Snakety snake snake. Now if we wanted to make this look super pretty, there's a wiring loom in here. We're not going to bother with that because this is something that we just end up having to replace pretty regularly. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm just not going to do that because of that. And let's just flip this over this way for the moment. There's a water pump here that we got to be cognizant of, and we're gonna somehow get this snaked back in here. There we go. Okay, so it's going to go right there. We're going to have it feeding back over like so. Got plenty of cord to work with, so that's all good, fine and dandy. And then we're gonna reattach that back in. This is all gonna get pushed down, and we're gonna drop all of this back in the way it's supposed to go. All supposed to go past there like that. Dot, 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 dot. There we go. Okay. All right. So now these get fed in to our connectors. We're going to do one at a time, I think. Give this a good twisteroo. And I'm going to need this guy here, so we're going to do that. Okay, let's get this to where we're not going to move. There's that one. There's that one. Okay. All right, so let's see. All right, so we have this is our thermistor. That's all there. So now a lot of this is we got to tuck all this back in here. Oh, no, not yet. I almost forgot. We got to get this guy back on. There we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now, you gotta tuck all that stuff in there like so. Make sure that everything is aesthetic, we're not smushing anything. Get the lid back on there. Excellent. Okay, so we don't need this bit no more. Check to see if anyone's here. Okay, so now we're gonna use this bit. These screws here go back in here. Yay, so doesn't need to be particularly tight, but do need to make sure it's not going to come loose. There we go, governor. And then this one isn't going to do much for it. Yeah, it's basically stripped out. Okay, not a lot we can do with that. So now what we need to do is reattach all of the screws that hold this top plate on and keep it from moving around. So that'll be the next thing that we do. This guy back since we don't need him no more, but we're going to need this guy. Okay, is it this guy? No. Yeah, no, it is this guy. Okay. So we're going to do the get in there. There we go. That's that guy. This guy. Jam him in there. Get in there. Oop. Get in there. There we go. Okay. This is the one that's kind of a pain. There we go. Alright. Okay, now the rest of these should be relatively straightforward. So this guy goes in here. This guy goes in here. This guy goes in here. And then it's just get it on there. Twisty twisty. Get it on there. Twisty twisty. Get it on there. Twisty twisty. And then I'm going to use this. I may need to Okay, there we go. All right. So that is that. I do have a few other things I need to do with this, but that's basically how you replace the thermistor. We'll walk through the calibration once I get the other things sorted out. Okay, so here's the secondary thing that we have to do. We have water in this. We're pumping water. According to this, it says the temperature is 22.8 degrees Celsius. We just put water in this. Okay, so this is the secondary part that we have to do. If you'll notice, it says it's 22.7 degrees is what the water currently is. And according to our thermometer, let's get this where we can actually read it. There we go. We're actually 23.3. So this has a facility. If we hold let's try that again. There we go. There's a calibration. So we hit set 23.3 and it was 27 or 22.7. Yeah. So we're gonna go hold calibration 22.7, 0.8, 0.9, 23, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, set. There we go. 23.3, now we say 23.4, 23.3, 23.4. It's kind of flipping between the two of them. So we'll go set again. Come on. There we go. We'll just go 0.5. So now we're 23.3. 23.3. So now when we go to set our temperature, so we're going to process some black and white film. So we go set. Now normally I set this to 24 degrees, 24.5. And you'll see it just popped up, it's working, so that means it's now going to heat it to 24.5. And we'll check the accuracy of that once it gets up to temperature. Okay, things have been running for a while. It says we're now at 24.5 degrees. Got our handy dandy thing. We're going to stick it in the water here, and we're a tenth off, but that's typically considered kind of the normal thing. It's very hard to get it to where these are both exactly the same. It doesn't really matter how you adjust it. These are plus or minus a tenth, so it's close enough, especially for black and white, that I'm not going to worry about it. But there you go. We are now ready to process film with our replaced temperature sensor.